Our financial expert, Coach Pete, is also a best-selling author. Thank you for being back with us today, Pete.
Good to be here as always.
It's good to have you. You've written a few titles, right? Tell me, you know how many off the top of your head?
About seven.
Seven titles.
Who's counting?
Who has time to write all these books with everything you're up to?
Yeah.
So tell me about this book you brought with you today, The Little Green Book of Life.
Probably the best book I've ever written that basically doesn't have much information in it of mine. So basically I prompt people in like 100 pages, prompt you how to fill it in. Like, where are your bank accounts? What are your bank account numbers? Do you have life insurance? Do you have CDs, certificates of deposit? I call certificates of depreciation and disappointment. But do you have those? Like, what banks are you with? What's the number for your life insurance company or your property and casualty company? All the things can be in this book. So you have one place to go. And if you, unfortunately, take a limousine to heaven too early, like if you pass away, now your next of kin has a treasure map for themselves to find out where mom and dad's stuff or grandpa and grandma's stuff really is, rather than having to guess, or like my grandparents did back in the day. Towards the end, you'd go in their house and you'd pick something up. If you turn it over on the bottom, there'd be a piece of masking tape with a name written.
Post-it notes. My grandparents used Post-it notes. It was all over their house there towards the end. So what made you want to write this book? It seems so helpful.
So many people, when someone passed away, came and said, Coach, I had no idea they had a life insurance policy. It took me 5 years to figure out they had one and find out where it was. And you know, one guy had said his grandfather had buried mason jars in the backyard, and he basically had drawn a treasure map and showed it. So like, put it in here. If you do that, make sure that your next of kin has a way to find it. And because so many things have happened in the past where people forgot to write down if account numbers changed or whatever, and you forget your passwords. This is just a good place to have everything. Now keep this in a safe place. Like a safety deposit box, maybe the bank, or if you have a safe in there, because that's a lot of information for yourself. But make sure that your children or grandchildren know it exists.
Yes, and it sounds like something you should really give to everyone you love, right? My sister, my mom, my stepdad, everyone should have one of these just to keep everything together.
There's some thought-provoking questions in there too, and many times when we start filling the information out, we realize we're taking way too much risk in retirement, so we need to make sure we get a safety plan put together with lifetime income, because many people, in the gap there which says what's your income going to be in retirement, most people leave that blank because they have no idea what their income's going to be in retirement. Let's put a real number there, what your income could be, should be, or will be, and have that firmly in there in your book to remind you that's what the income you could qualify for with the risk you're taking, and maybe get rid of some of that risk and get a safe plan put together.
So why is it so important for somebody to kind of have this plan in place in case of sudden death, or have a will in place? Why is that so important?
You've had to-do lists in the past where you write down a whole bunch of stuff. You ever, like, once in a while, have you accomplished everything on the list?
Never.
I had one time, and the feeling you get, like, wow, I'm done. Until the next list starts. But just the feeling, what if you could just get done with everything, have all your information in one place? It's a great feeling, and it gives you peace of mind. Also gives you confidence. Many times, people don't realize they have as much put aside already, but when you have it all in one place and you start adding the numbers up, maybe you could retire sooner.
Right, and beyond this, people still need to get their will in place to make sure that all the details are in place.
This is just a starting point. Always get a will and make sure it's in the state you live in. So if you had a will in a different state and moved here, you might want to have an attorney in this state review your will to make sure it applies, all the laws apply to this state too. That's
very important information. We got a lot of transplants around here.
So let's get to the next 10 people call. We'll make sure you get a copy of this. Inside here also is a golden ticket to make sure you have your own total retirement plan. That's $1,000 value.
That's a great value, and this book seems really valuable. I'm going to be getting one for my mom, guys. If you'd like a copy of Coach Pete's book, The Little Green Book of Life, or to receive an analysis of your retirement investments, call or text 888-919-9001 to set up an appointment and receive your full retirement review.